If you're allergic to making money, I suggest you click off the video now because I'm going to be showing you how we help this coach make 250,000 plus US dollars in about 90 days, give or take. So if you look at the stats here, he started off at just under 40K, 50K, get a little pen out, 50K. And then once we started working with him in April or the end of March, sorry, we got him to 100K, and then the following month 99K or just under 100K again, and then the screenshot's missing, but another further 50K for the 3 months. Now, everything that I'm going to be talking about is going to be shown, right? Nothing's going to be hidden. I'm not going to gatekeep or not talk about anything we didn't do. I'm actually going to reveal everything that we implemented so you can actually, take this for yourself. Literally copy what I'm going to show you, what we did for your client or for your own coaching business to actually see a positive outcome. Now, for a bit of context, this client here, this particular client, Ritesh Verma, he was actually a client of one of my students, Rian, who was in MP Elite.
So it's just like the amount of stuff I learned. Like I learned more from you than like in like 3 4 months than I ever have in like 4 years of college. 100%. Not actually doing it and not learning from someone who knows how to do it and like all like the little nuances like you do. I didn't know how to do it or anything. So thank God I met you, or else I would have just been like completely
Yeah.
lost. And this was the point, the month I got him from like 50, 60K to 100K.
Yeah.
So I doubled his revenue, or we doubled his revenue.
And Rian had access to one-to-one calls with me, all of my agency SOPs and tools, and my guidance and expertise on tap whenever he needed. So if you would like the same, just let me know. But if you don't, then just watch the video. You will basically get everything that I gave him here. And yeah, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the first thing that we did is we needed to understand the operations, how his whole business worked, his whole info business. I needed to understand how data was captured to help improve the business and its performance because, let's be real, if you want a serious business and you actually want to make actual fucking money, you need to be tracking all the metrics, all the data to actually understand where everything is going, what is happening, and how the business is performing. We need to understand the traffic, so how was traffic generated, what the sources. We needed to understand how he was turning those traffic into leads, and we needed to know how the leads were then converted into actual hard sales. So, from the quick analysis, or like a day or two, or just a quick call with Rian, his client was running two funnels: a VSL call funnel and an IG profile. For those of you who don't know, VSL call funnel is basically, in short, the logic flow is traffic gets sent to a landing page. The landing page will contain a VSL. Don't know what I put before there. A landing page will contain a VSL that's embedded into the site, and there will also be a type form. The type form will have one job to either qualify or disqualify any leads. And what I like to do for my clients, my offers is any qualified leads, of course, gets a call booked, and any unqualified leads, what other offers do is they just tell them you're not qualified, blah blah blah, try again next time or some shit. But what I like to do is to pitch them to a low ticket offer. That way we're maximizing the amount of money we're actually collecting from all the leads generated. And then same thing again, IG profile. So you've probably seen this on Instagram where a coach has something along the lines of DM me this keyword in their bio. Or if you're watching a reel, they'll say like, oh, message me this and I'll send you over this document or this guide. So traffic gets sent to a lead magnet, which is normally like a freebie. You get the lead magnet via automation on ManyChat or manually, depending if the coach can afford the fucking ManyChat subscription. A DM setter will then speak to you and then kind of do the same thing again, qualify you, unqualify you, and then it's kind of send you down the same route as over here. And that's basically what he was running. He did also used to run promotional offers on his emailing list, but his email list was dead, and we didn't really focus on that. These two are basically the main sources on what was actually generating the traffic and converting the leads. So once we figured all of that out, we then go into analytics, and this is where I was completely shocked because there was actually zero like real tracking and analytics in place. And this really shocked me because as a business, like I mentioned before, you should have all of the tracking and data sets there. If I come into a business, for example, and I want to know what your show up rates, your closing rates, all of this stuff, as a business owner, you should be able to, have this on hand and be able to tell me. But when we came in and we like tried to figure all of this out, there was nothing in place. The only thing in place for any sort of data or tracking was he was periodically, like bi-weekly, once or twice a week, was exporting Typeform entries and then not even doing anything with it. Because I think he had UTM sources and all of that stuff set up on the Typeform, so he would kind of see where the leads were coming from, but he would have no clue if they were high quality leads, low performing, blah blah, blah, all that stuff, right? So like I said, how can a business know exactly what to improve on if there's no evidence or data shown in front of you, right? It's like trying to shoot a target in an empty dark room and you're completely blindfolded. Like, it's completely fucking impossible. So first thing that we did was, priority number one was build a tracking sheet. Now we wanted to, or I wanted to give him my own tracking sheet that I give to my clients for Rian and his client, but his client is very difficult to work with. But you can't have all the best clients. But he wanted his own tracking sheet, so we were tasked with making a custom tracking sheet specifically for him, easy and simple to use. So my philosophy is to keep everything simple. Don't make shit fancy. Fancy is just, you're just doing too much, you're overcompensating. But in short, what we used was Claude, Google Sheets, and Zapier for some of the automations and some of the data exports which we couldn't get. For example, if I remember correctly, the Calendly bookings. We couldn't get those. I think Calendly doesn't have like an integration where they can export the data to a Google Sheet to show us who's booked the call. So we built a custom Zapier automation to do that for us. And as you can see here, once we built everything, we had backup sheets just in case, because a lot of this was automated and I don't trust people messing with formulas and automation. So we made backups just in case shit went left or shit went sideways. Just so something went wrong, we can easily implement backups just so things can keep running smoothly. So dashboard was quite simple, or the tracking was simple really. We had a dashboard which was also connected to an external, more fancier or more visually appealing dashboard. This one was basically just a quick one to check, but we had a custom website where Ritesh could quickly click a link, see how everything's performing live, updated every 30 seconds, see how the business is performing. We had a lead tracker. We also had a sales tracker to see all the numbers that we were getting, close rates, sharp rates, cash collected. Those who didn't book but completed the Typeform, so we weren't missing any leads. We also implemented the DM setting tracker, which I'll get onto later. And then the raw lead data was just the Typeform export, which Ritesh initially had, but we kind of made some changes to the Typeform to actually help us gather more information, to actually help us improve our research and how we actually do our messaging and targeting. So here is an example of what the sheet looked like. We had, like, this is what I mean by touching it, but it was first name, last name, date the call was booked, contact info. This was before the automation was set up, but once we implemented this, I think it was March 29th, all of the numbers would come here. Who the assigned closer was, the current lead status, did they complete the thank you page, sent testimonial. This is also, I'll explain later what this is. Follow-ups, if they showed up, closed, cash collected, notes, and we did have a sales call link tab as well, so we could have link to the sales calls. It's just too many fucking tabs. I can grab a screenshot, but here is the example of the sales tracker. So how much cash we collected, the book calls, calls completed, deals closed, close percentage, different closer percentage. I've blurred out their names for privacy reasons. No show rates, each closer's commissions, set a commission, email commission, and this is what the raw lead data look like. So we made changes to the Typeform to actually help us gather more stuff. So kind of more understanding here, which is what's the current occupation. At the beginning, we couldn't understand the audience that we were getting when we tried to do some research into his current paying clientele. They were all over the place. Some were entrepreneurs, some were 9-to-5ers, some were like developers. So we narrowed the list down to actually understand who his audience is. We want to know their experience, how much income they were making, name, phone number, blah, blah, all that normal stuff. A reason why this, we kind of asked them to be as detailed as possible, only because we can kind of extract pain points and words to use against them. That sounds wrong, but my marketers will know we can use phrases and words against them that will make them more, or make them more related to us, makes it more relatable, and builds more trust. How much they're willing to invest, confirming the call, and then obviously the UTM campaign, UTM sources, so we can see where some of the leads were coming from. He didn't want to use tracking link. I'll get to that after. This is just extra stuff for when they were disqualified and sent to a low ticket offer. So, like I mentioned before, we had to build a custom tracking to allow us to see the real pinch points and bottlenecks, because, I mean, you can guess all of the bottlenecks and what could be causing a business to not perform, but data and evidence and numbers are the only thing that will confirm everything. You can't go in blind. You can't guess that, oh, maybe let me do this video, or let me fix my sharp rate. You need to actually confirm what you think is wrong before you go and actually decide, all right, how do we go about fixing this, right? So we needed to know, okay, no, sorry, we now had the data and evidence to allow us to start finding performances within the business. So once all of this was set up and all the previous data was set, and all the previous data was migrated over, and we had new data coming in, it was so much more easier to actually see and pinpoint, aha, like this is where we're going wrong, this is where we're doing well, this is the transition here is where it's fucking up, this is where we need to actually fix this. So from the tracking, we could actually start to see, what content was generating us leads, what topic was getting us leads, the pains, problems, goals, and desires from our leads, that they were saying for themselves. I mean, we had existing sales calls from old clients, but we kind of wanted a more up-to-date, relevant information, because as offers exist and competition comes into play, the market starts to get more sophisticated, pain points and desires and all that stuff starts to get niched down. So what information you might have learned a year ago might not be relevant today. So it's always about updating and understanding how we can actually, stay improved, improve our marketing, and understand where the actual market is going in terms of sophistication. We can now, with the tracker, we could actually see sharp rates, close rates, but how many bookings we're getting, how many leads we're getting, all of that we can now actually clearly see, and to see where we need to improve. We could finally see close and setup performance. So if someone needed to get fired, or we needed to take on some new talent, then it would be easy to identify that instead of blaming content or blaming this or blaming that. And an important one is to actually see who our audience is, because I think when I hopped on a call with Rian, I did ask him, I said, who is it that your client sells to? Like, if you were to give me a one liner, like, he sells to entrepreneurs who are in the tech space. Rian couldn't do this because it was all over the place. So with all that, we had the data and we knew exactly what to work on next. And the first thing that we had to work on was content. So from the analytics, the biggest issue that we found, or I found, sorry, with Rian, is Ritesh was generating insane amounts of views. Like, he is really good when it comes to content, kind of a rare thing when it comes to these info coaches. Most of them are shit at content and don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have like a personality of a paint drying on a wall. But Ritesh actually knows how to do content. But the issue was he was getting very low quality leads. Like, they were time wasters, low buyer intent, put low buyer intent twice. Don't know why. But yeah, we're getting such low quality. I think this is meant to be like third world countries, but a lot of them are coming from India and Africa. So that was an issue. So like I said here, Ritesh was amazing at content. At the time when we started working with him, with Rian and my agency, he was at 43k subs, and he had a lot of like super high performing videos. Like, he had a 3.2x outlier here. He had one video down here that hit nearly 200k views. This one nearly hit 10k, 14k views here. He had a lot of videos performing. I think even earlier videos, we had one at 200k, 300k. He was getting views. Like, it was amazing to see. But the issue was it was translating to very, very low quality leads. And upon further research, we found that 90% of his content, right, was top of funnel content. So to make this easier for you guys to understand, there's three types of content. There's top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. Top of funnel attracts the most viewers. It's more broad content, and it's mainly just to get eyeballs. So it's like main thing. It's just to get views, get people watching. Middle funnel, this is more people who are educated in your niche, and they kind of want to get more specific. They kind of want to learn more instead of seeing generic stuff. Like, he would have a lot of videos saying, how to start a one-person business, and it would be the most generic advice. This would go, middle funnel videos would be a layer deeper. So if, for example, if one of them says like you use Claude Code to code an app, that would be top of funnel. But then a middle funnel video would be how to use Claude Code, how to set it up, stuff like that, right? And this is more, it's not going to be more broad. It's now going to be more specific. But the people who watch this have a higher buying intent. Then bottom funnel videos is more you showcasing your expertise. So this would be like case studies, client interviews, actual real projects you've worked on. And then this will be even more specific. but the view kind of goes down. So if you can imagine here going down, and this is the like average view count, right? As you go down with the content type, like top of funnel, middle funnel, the view count goes down, but the quality of lead goes up. So in a pool of top of funnel content, you're going to have a low number of high quality leads, but as you go down, middle funnel and bottom funnel will have higher quality leads because they're more engaged in your content, they're more invested into the niche, and they're more likely to buy from it, right? So once we figured that out, like we knew like right, most of this content is literally just like top of funnel. Like it's just attracting people, but it's not getting people to stay, shifting their beliefs and actually believing in the business model, right? So we needed to do that. First thing we did is we scripted a video for Ritesh based on the data that we found and competition analysis. So we looked at a list of competitors that Ritesh or his offer is in, which was like the AI business space. We looked at other competitors, see what they're doing, see their videos, what topics they're talking about, how they recorded their videos, the format, the title, all of that stuff, the thumbnails. So what we came to in the conclusion was Mara Boards did extremely well in his niche. His audience was mainly struggling with getting their first client. So this goes back to the data tracking where I think it's here, somewhere around here. Yeah. So we had a drop down of like common problems that they had, and at the time we looked at the past 60 days, and a lot of them were saying, "I can't get my first client." So we solved that pain point, and we use indirect CTAs to push people to apply to his mentorship, as well as using a hard CTA at the end. Because I noticed in his videos, he was always pushing people to watch another video within his channel and never pushing people towards actually applying towards his mentorship, which you can do. Like, let's just say you're pushing people to another video, that kind of helps the algorithm, and YouTube favors that because you're keeping people on for longer. The session time increases, and YouTube starts promoting your videos more. But he was just constantly doing this. He wasn't actually telling people to go down below and apply to his mentorship. So that's one thing we also wanted to do. Another thing is that he was doing so much like over editing, fancy visuals, like over the top, right? And we noticed that most of his demographic that were watching his videos were in their mid 20s to mid 30s, around that range. So 25 plus. And he was using visuals and edits that would capture the minds of like anyone younger than 18. So we had to use raw video only, no fancy editing, no cutscenes and attention grabs and shit that like, short attention span people fall for, right? No TikTok editing. Had to be raw, authentic. We really want to capture only the high quality leads. So what do we do? So what I did for Rian was I gave him the a skill, my agency's Maraboard skill, which we use to actually create videos. So it'll I'll explain it here. So the skills here, value ICP gets, transformation, reason for the ICP to act now, and it builds out 90% of the board and script. So then we can just focus on the final 10%, or final 10, 20% that actually gets people to convert. And yeah, so from the skill, we gave it the skill, we gave it the context of Ritesh's offer, its ICP, and other relevant information like compare analysis, what videos worked, what didn't work. And we managed to put together a 10 video script. So we had 10 videos already lined up, ready to go. And all of these videos were specifically designed to shift beliefs and to actually nurture people to the point where they're ready to buy. Like if they've got the money, these 10 videos will build so much value and so much trust that if they had the money, they'll book the call, they'll turn up on call and be like, look, don't pitch me, I want to buy it straight away. So we had all of that. I reviewed it here for him. The only thing which was bugging me was I think the CTAs were putting it as like go to the next video. So then we were just saying, all right, just manually change the CTA, manually work on the hook. So the script was better and we're actually pitching towards. So once we did that, the Maraboard skill actually drew out a template of how the video or Maraboard should look like. And then Rian spent about, I think, 2 or 3 hours actually making the visuals look more appealing and more easy to understand, as well as building a bullet point script for Ritesh to actually know what to talk about and how to talk about it. So once the first video was completed, all it needed to do is be recorded and uploaded. And here is the video here, which amazingly did really well. So this was a middle of funnel video. These were the stats. I think the first 48 hours, it got 6.5k views, plus 96 subs. And we weren't anticipating this video to do really well. We actually told Ritesh, like, look, if this video underperforms, do not be alarmed. We're not trying to focus on views. We're trying to focus on actually giving raw value and belief shifting so they actually stay long term and actually become high quality leads. But this absolutely popped off. Still don't know why it popped off, but it did so well. I think it was over here. Yeah, Ritesh was. This was he wasn't happy with I think it was the retention rate. I think the retention percentage was quite low. It was 11%. But we had to assure him and tell him, look, we're not looking to, excuse my language here, but we're not looking to look at YouTube metrics. We're kind of looking at book calls, how many qualified leads did we get. We told him this is legit one video 1 out of 10. We still got 9 further to do. And I said here, the fact that middle funnel video performed really well compared to the channel average is a good sign. They need to stop looking at YouTube metrics. No more reason. A lot of coaches do this. They're too busy stuck on looking at the fucking analytics here and not focusing on looking at what actually matters, which is book calls and stuff like that. So that was also one of the reasons why he was stuck below 40, 50k, which once we shifted, he actually got to 100. But a few days later, so about 5 days later, he uploaded his own video, which was not part of our plan, but he did it anyways, didn't let us know, and it didn't do as well as this one. And this was meant to be a top of funnel video, and this was a trending topic at the time. I think OpenClaw was like the hot topic within the AI space. It had just come out. He made a video to hop on the trend, and it did not do well compared to this one. And then I even asked him, like, was it his video or yours? Because I was like, I don't remember this in the 10 video script lineup. But yeah, he messed it up. And then I said, we'll just keep working on it. And then I think how long was that? This was at 6. So about 80 or 9 hours later, sorry, check on the video again, and it was a 2.6 x outlier, which isn't high, but I mean, for a channel of his size, it was quite good. And then from the metrics, we actually got 30 book calls, and they were all high quality leads in the first 48 hours. And in those 48 hours, we actually, oh, oops, my bad. We actually made 16k from his offer. His offer had to get off was, I think, 4k around the time, and we managed to get 4 sales within the first 2 days, which was absolutely nuts. So then once we had all of this done, Ritesh was like, okay, cool, we'll continue posting and working on the videos. So that was all sorted, but then we needed to move on and find the next like pinch point within his his info product. And the issue that he had next, or that I identified with Rian, was the whole DM setting and the prequel. So from the analytics, sorry about it, from the analytics, we found the following issues, right? So Rian was also handling DM setting at the time. We were planning on hiring someone to do this for us, but we were waiting to actually see if we're going to make the 100k a month. So Rian was going to be like, all right, I'll do this DM setting. And we had a really low sharp rate. So we're getting loads of leads, but they just weren't showing up. So the first thing we did was, so we had to make the DM setting more efficient for Rian, so he's not wasting too much time. Because the issue was he was having conversations, a lot of people going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and a lot of them weren't leading to calls. So what we did is we made a custom freestyle script to spend less time talking to time wasters and implemented tracking to minimize lead loss. So there was a tab in the tracking sheet, which was DM setting, and it was basically a list of all the conversations Rian was having with which lead, and we kind of made it easier for him. So we made scripts where he it wasn't a word for word script, but he knew what questions to ask to either qualify them or disqualify them. And we can kind of track all of this here, because then this will allow us to understand, all right, do we need to start working on Instagram content to actually bring us more qualified and disqualified, or more qualified leads? Because we solved the YouTube issue. Now we wanted to work on Instagram. Kind of put a pause on this because Ritesh was mainly focusing more on YouTube, but we had all of this stuff ready to go. Again, profile username, so the date of contact when we initiated, conversation status, are they engaged, were they disengaged, do we disqualify them, do we qualify them, do we send booking, pain point identified. This would also help us with market research, and again, like I said, understanding how the market's moving, the sophistication, what pain points are emerging, and any notes that we had. And then we also implemented my agency's pre-call SOP that we had. I think we hopped on call because I didn't want to make a huge fuss. I just want it to be a plug and play system for Rian to use and actually get results in. And the logic flow was as follows. So as soon as someone booked a call, Rian would contact them instantly via WhatsApp or iMessenger, depending on what they left. We would do an introduction / clarification. So we'd introduce ourselves. So Rian would say, "Hi, I'm Rian from Agent Rise. I'm talking to you on behalf of the call that you did. Blah blah blah. Just want to talk to you a bit before your call." Say call. We'll then go into qualification, which was just reiterating what they did on the type form. Because what a lot of people do is they lie a lot. They'll say they have 5K to invest. You talk to them, and then they're like, "No, I'm broke. I've got no money." So what we're doing here is just eliminating all the time wasters and making sure our closers actually have high quality leads to go to. Because, like I mentioned before, we had an issue where closers, like their close rates were absolutely like diabolically shit. And I don't want to jump to the conclusion of we need to hire new closers. I wanted to make sure we're weeding out all the time wasters first before I jump to the conclusion of, all right, are you share closing, or is it just the leads that we're giving you are completely horrible? So we'd do a qualification again. We'd make sure, like, where are you from? What's your name? How much do you have to invest? And again, if they were disqualified, we would cancel the call. We'll be like, unfortunately, you didn't meet our criteria. And then we'll kind of send them to a low ticket offer, like group coaching, like $40, $50 a month. And if they were qualified, we would tell them, all right, your call's confirmed. We just want to speak to you. We just want to ask just a few more questions, blah, blah, blah. And these questions, this is like really important here. They were questions where we could again extract their dream desires, their pain points, goals, fears, all this stuff that we could use on them when we're actually selling, and also to update our market research. Now, anyone who's in sales knows if you know someone's pain points, what makes them click, what their dream desires is, it's easier to shift them towards buying. So we kind of have that. And also one thing we used to do, or not, yeah, well, we used to do, because I'll get onto that, but one thing we used to do in this stage was we would always refer them or link them to someone successful within the program. So let's just say, for example, we had a software developer who qualified. He's looking to start his own AI app. And then he says, like, oh, I've been, like, let's say in the research question, we ask him, like, oh, what made you want to join so-and-so, our program? And then he says, I want to learn how to build an app and make, I don't know, 10K a month. We will then relate to him to say, oh, look, or not, oh, look, sorry, would relate him to someone who else is in the program. Like, oh, yeah, you remind me of so-and-so in the program. He's also a software dev, and he made 20K with his app when he joined. And that's, we kind of do that. We kind of give him that hope that, oh my God, like, this is what I want to do. Someone in the program's already done it. And it kind of builds that like excitement and trust and that like that level of wanting to join. It kind of increases that. So we always related them to someone successful within the program, whether it was country, whether it was dreams, whether it was like their previous situation. We always related their situation to someone successful to like kind of show them like, look, you're not on your own. Someone's done it before, and you can if they've done it before, why can't you? You know, it kind of works like that. And then one thing we also used to do is we used to tell them or resend the pre-call assets. So when they used to book a call, they would go into a booking call confirmation page where there'll be like a short VSL, not a VSL, but like it would kind of confirm like all the stuff that they're gonna get, what to expect, blah 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 blah, and handing any objections, any misconceptions, and also sending them the student testimonials and student interviews. We made sure they watched this so the trust is built and they're like intent and ready to buy once they hop on call. We implemented this fucking skyrocketed the amount of, well, this decreased the no-show rate first of all, but this was one of the main contributing factors to the amount of fucking money this offer made, as well as the content shifts. But after that, the result of the implementation, so those were the 2 or 3 major implementations we added. And as a result of that, within the 90 days, we made back-to-back 100K a month cash collected. Now, was everything fixed / improved in this offer? No, it wasn't. There was so much more stuff that needed to be improved, right? For example, the landing page in VSL was completely dog shit. It was trash. And with the new market research and pain points and data that we collected, we could easily script a better, higher converting VSL. I mean, I didn't have the VSL metrics, but I knew it just wasn't the best. Like, it was the worst. There was no tracking links implemented, so we couldn't see what specific video would get us the most book calls or what type of content. Even though we had UTM sources, it was kind of harder to track the amount of clicks it got compared to the conversions. we didn't get a chance to review the sales calls or higher better closes because it was such a short limited time, right? And we didn't get a chance to run webinars or paid ads for this offer. Because I truly believe if we ran a webinar or paid ads for this offer, we could have easily scaled to 250, 300, 400K a month. Easily, much more. And the issue is Ritesh and Rian just parted ways. It's more of a personality clash, even though they made a fuck ton of money together. When one party doesn't play their positions right and thinks they are a know-it-all, it's kind of difficult to get stuff going. There was a lot of back and forth and issues with payments, but the best thing to do, or the best advice I gave Rian was like, "Oh, look, Rian, just part ways. You've made your money. You're better off getting another client and running up with him because Ritesh is a nightmare to work with." I mean, no hate to Ritesh, I never spoke to the guy, but from what I've seen how their relationship looked like, it was a toxic relationship. I'd say borderline abusive. So that's not my business, but there was so much more we could have implemented within the offer to actually run it up. Just improving the landing page of VSL would have increased our conversions. Tracking links would have given us more data points and more accurate identification on what's working and what's not working. Reviewing sales calls and hiring better closers. That's something we never got around to, which I think would have helped a lot as well. And then testing webinars and paid ads. I think this would have done because a lot of his competition were running paid ads and webinars. Ritesh was the only one that was doing organic content that was actually successful. So the implementation of webinars and paid ads would have done even better. But it's all an if, we'll never know. Like Kanye said, our guess we'll never know. So if you want my agency's SOPs, you want one-to-one calls, private Discord chat with me, my guidance and expertise, and you're trying to make 5K a month or more with one client with AI operating, I would tell you to apply below using the first link. If you're accepted, you will hop on a call with me. I don't have closers or DM setters. You'll hop on a call with me. We'll speak it out, see if you're a good fit for my program, and yeah, if you're successful, we can run it up, and you can be hopefully you can be the next person I do a video like this on. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you in the next one.